Hello, everybody. Welcome to How I Heal Everything. I'm Kimberly Palm, and this is my health channel that I had to create because of YouTube taking down health videos off of my other channel. So my main channel is Spiritual Growth Journeys. If you're interested in spiritual development, energy work, healing, any meditation, any of that kind of stuff, you can go over to my other channel, which is in the description below, Spiritual Growth Journeys. But on this channel, what I talk about are products, services, and things that I've been using to heal my own body for the last, oh my gosh, 41 years. I started studying how to heal myself when I was 19. I just turned 60 last week. And I've had to do this because the medical industry has let me down over and over and over again. So I've had to seek out things like this lovely little thing we're going to talk about today. This is called the Vibe by Resona Health. And today I have on my show with me Mark Fox, who was an aerospace engineer and went into the healing industry. And I got to tell you, Mark, thank you for coming on my show. This device has been a lifesaver for me.
Thank you so
It's
much for
been
having me. Yeah,
awesome.
it's helped a lot of people.
Yeah, so now the main things I got it for is I have extreme chronic back pain because I have degenerative disc issues. I have osteoarthritis, which is a degenerative issue, not an inflammatory. And I take 50 million anti-inflammatory supplements, and they don't do anything for the bone that is degenerating.
Right.
And so I have chronic pain. So this thing has saved me because when my back flares up, I put this and I shove it in the back of my pants right near my low back, and it takes out a huge amount of the pain. It really calms it down. And all of the other settings on this thing are just incredible. I mean, I use the sleep one, I use the anti-aging. I got to tell you a funny story. A lady commented on my newest video that I put on my other channel yesterday that I look like I had Botox because my eyebrows didn't move. And I'm like, okay, I can move my eyebrows just fine. I don't know why she said that. It's probably because when I'm talking, I don't move my eyebrows, but I can move my eyebrows. And I've never had Botox in my entire life, never had plastic surgery, never had any type of plastic or artificial or surgery work on me at all. I use 100% vegan lotion. It can't, because I wrote a book all about chemical and toxin stress in the body. Okay. So I'm obsessed about not putting toxins into my body. So everything I put on my skin is like olive oil and shea butter and nut butters and all kind of, everything I put on my face is all mineral makeup and non-toxic third party tested, and I don't do any of that stuff. And people are shocked and go, oh, why do you look 40 when you're 60? Well, stuff like this is really helpful. This Vibe, it's got an anti-aging um, thing on it. I also use the X39 patch from LifeWave and the glutathione patch from LifeWave, and I do a lot of glutathione, like actual what do you call it? Transdermal glutathione and all that, which helps with anti-aging and things like this one Vibe are just incredible. So I want to read to everybody a little bit about this thing. This thing is the world's only pocket PEMF device, PEMF. So years ago, I tried out an actual PEMF, which was this big mat, and I was at a women's conference I was speaking at, and they had me lie on the ground on this PEMF mat, and then they were sending frequencies into my body, and it actually made me feel really good, but they were just way too expensive. I couldn't afford them. They're like thousands of dollars. They take up a lot of space. You have to have all kinds of training on how to use it, which I am totally stinky when it comes to electronic devices, technology. I'm an anti-techie person. I just have an issue with it. And I don't know why. I'm married to an engineer, so I don't know what the problem is with that. But who also was in aerospace, by the way. He started at Hughes Aircraft. Um,
Okay.
but the thing is that this is has 60 protocols that you can't find anywhere else. It's lightweight. You can hide it in your clothing or in your pocket. No, you could be walking around grocery shopping or on an airplane or anywhere, and nobody's going to see this or know that you have it, which is really awesome. And it's doing a similar thing to the big giant mat with all the electronic devices attached to it and all the cords attached to it and all of that. So it's travel friendly. There's no drugs involved, no doctor visits to get this, no prescriptions necessary to get it. And you don't have to download an app to your phone because I try to keep the damn cell phone far away from me so it can't blast me with
Right.
5G radiation and all that. So, so Mark, thank you for coming on. Can you first of all tell me how did you go from being an aerospace engineer to creating this amazing device? What is your story of how you got into this?
Yeah, and I did never intend to get into energy therapy. I'm not a doctor. I'm a rocket scientist. I worked on the space shuttle program. What happened was my dog. So my dog was sick one day. She couldn't come up the stairs and she was just crying, which she had never done before. And so we had to flip a coin to see who was not going to work that day. And it was me. So I took her to the veterinarian. They did an x-ray on her and she had severe arthritis in her spine, which is really sad.
Mm.
And a veterinarian, a friend of mine named Oz Jackson, a different veterinarian in another state who I know from other stuff. He's like, hey, well, there's this magic frequency energy machine. And at the time, they were, like you said, super expensive. They were scattered in different states. They were being held hostage in clinical environments. So that's how I learned about the energy thing, was just a necessity for my dog. Now, that was 28 years ago. I don't believe any of this stuff, or didn't, because it's like, what, you can't really do anything with energy frequency, and you're going to be real like rocket science stuff. But the more I looked into it, right, and there's 6,000 PubMed studies out there on NASA's been using it since the 1970s. I'm still skeptical, but the more and more you look at it and more data we get, the stuff's real. It doesn't work 100%, but it's north of 90 for most people. So that's how I got involved with that. What you're talking about with like a beamer mat, if you go like man on the street, which I've done with a microphone, you go, hey, do you know what PEMF is? And it's not something real voodoo magical. It's the Earth's heartbeat. The Earth puts it out 24/7, called Schumann frequencies.
Yeah.
And about 1 out of 15 people will know what it is from exactly what you said. They know what a mat is from a chiropractor's office or a spa or something.
Mhm.
In the horse world, 100% of the people know what it is because they all know what a MagnaWave machine is. They've all seen a veterinarian treat their horses or one in the stables, right? So that's how I got involved initially, was my dog. And as I learned more and more about it, is I saw that the success rate for PTSD was ridiculously high,
Oh, wow.
unbelievably high. And it frankly just pissed me off that we have all these military guys commit suicide and first responders. It's awful, awful, awful. We don't take care of them. And there was a solution, right? Is a portable, affordable device, which I naively said, I'll just take a little coil and a battery and a circuit board, decide to be easy. And it wasn't. Okay. There's a pile of coils over here in the corner of this room, about 8 feet high at one point I had to throw away. So we finally found the right combination of size, weight, battery length, heat, temperature, putting out the right energy. All these, like, people will go, hey, it's got a 5-hour battery. I want a 15-hour battery. Well, it's not going to fit on your neck. It's going to be too heavy, right? So you got all these trade-offs to it. But that's how I ended up inventing it. Was my dog, and then the PTSD, knowing that there was a solution and they didn't have access to it. Now I've since find out there's actually a much larger population of civilians with PTSD and trauma. The military actually isn't the biggest thing to scale, and it's actually more women than men. You
Mhm.
guys have it rough. You've got
I was one
you
of
have,
them.
yeah, you have crappy boyfriends, crappy husbands,
Yeah,
miscarriages, kids that suck,
yeah.
all kinds of stuff in life and trauma that,
Mhm.
there's more and more civilian people use it for that. But that's a long answer to your first question.
Wow. Wow. So, how did you come up? What made you decide on these 60? There's 60 different modalities. And actually, do you mind if I go through these with everyone and go click through there and tell everybody what all I have on my device here?
If you can get through all 60 of them, yeah.
Yeah, so these are all of the things that this thing works on. Okay, it works on acne, which I haven't had that since I was a teenager, thank God. ADHD, which I have the ADD, not the ADHD, that not the hyper part. I just have the ADD. Allergies, I have tons of those. Alzheimer's, don't want to have that. This helps with that. Anti-aging, use this all the time. I don't know if you guys can see it, but probably not. I don't, let's see. No, it doesn't show up. That's okay. Anxiety, which I've had my whole life. I was born anxious, I think. Arthritis, got that. Asthma, used to have that when I was younger. It has Awaken 852 hertz, brain balancing to balance the both sides of your limbic of your brain, brain fog, which a lot of women have at menopause time. I went through that as well. Brainwave alpha, brainwave beta, brainwave delta, brainwave gamma, and brainwave theta. Now, those are really good for meditation, which I'm a meditation instructor, as everybody who knows me knows. And these are all really, really good settings for meditation. There's breast health on here, bronchitis, carpal tunnel, cold sores, common cold, connect, 639 hertz, constipation, depression, DIA. I don't know what DIA is. What is DIA?
It's a word I made up because doctors get to make up their own words.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's diabiological syndrome. So it's
Okay.
DIA is depression, insomnia, anxiety,
Okay.
because it's the devil's triangle. Nobody has one of them. You either
All right.
anxious because you can't sleep, or you can't sleep because you're anxious, or you're depressed because you're anxious. Or so it's what it is. It's actually stacking three protocols at the same time.
Wow. Okay. Well, I have kids who have all three of those. So there you go. All right. Earth 7.83 hertz, Earth 14.1 hertz, Earth 20.3 hertz, Express 741 hertz, fibromyalgia, which a lot of women I know have, flu, everybody gets that, general inflammation, hangover, heart health, immune support. I could have used the hangover one when I was in college and I was 20.
And
Immune support, insulin resistance, kidney support, liberate, liver support, love, 528 hertz, low back pain, which is what I use all the time, a migraine headache, mononucleosis, neck pain, that's common for a lot of us, PMS, prostate support, PTSD, of course, relax and balance, resolve, 417 hertz, shingles, sleep, stop smoking, sunburn, tendinitis, tinnitus in your ears, TMJ in the jaw, vagus nerve issues, weight loss, white coat syndrome. That's when people get anxious when they go to the doctor. So you could go to the doctor, have this running in your pocket while you're sitting in the doctor's office, and you won't be all freaking out and having your blood pressure spike up because the doctor is freaking you out.
exactly what
Wound,
one of the things I use it for. So go ahead.
yeah, wound healing, and that's it. So, I mean, and I would say I would probably use two-thirds of those at least, you know. So I honestly think everybody can get several of these out of it, one or more, maybe even 10 or more out of these would work for pretty much every human on the earth, as far as I'm concerned.
Human, and it's for people and pets, so dogs and
Right.
horses too.
And then
Also
horses.
cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, also cats, but cats are kind of finicky. A cat will actually come lay on it if it's the
Hmm.
right protocol, but you can't really attach it to a cat very easy. We have harnesses and
Yeah.
for dogs and horses that are specific. But of all the ones you just read, I mean, just a handful of them is the most common ailment in the world for people and pets across every continent is anxiety.
Yeah.
It's because everyone has it at one time or the other. That's the book I just finished writing, Go
Hmm.
Find Joy, that became a bestseller last week on Amazon,
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
I was going to ask you about that. You have two books. You have What on Earth Are We Doing to Our Health? And then the Go Find Joy book. That's awesome.
I have four books, but those are two of them. Those are the two
Oh, okay.
latest
Well, those are the
ones.
two I know about.
Right. The other one's about creative. The other two are about creative thinking and business and stuff. So they're in a different field. But yeah, anxiety is like a huge one. PTSD, we already mentioned. Of course, pain, whether it's neck pain, back pain, arthritis, is monstrous. The number two is going to probably be sleep, is
Mhm.
because, and two of the biomarkers in the world to measure whether everything's going in the direction of goodness
Yeah,
are your how much sleep you're getting, good sleep, and how much your heart rate variability increases. Those are the
right.
two things that we tell everyone to go measure, and you can
Yeah.
do it with these type of things. But yeah, every one of those protocols, the one that gets used the least is mono. Okay, the one that is used one of the most is just general inflammation because it's 80% of all ailments, right? So it's an underlying
Hmm.
thing to help with many, many, many different things. So yeah,
Hmm.
how I came to answer your question, I came up to 60. I didn't. I came up with 30, then 45, then 47, then 59, then 60 after I added vagus nerve. So we're on version 4.2, which means about 12 versions of it, which I'm not going to add any more protocols because when I try to do something nice and I added a couple more, the whole world wanted to turn theirs back in and get the new one for free. I'm like,
Oh, no way.
it's not how that works.
No,
So
that would bankrupt you.
and they try hard. But it's like, no,
Yeah.
so the 60 protocols are on there. And the reason is the 5 brainwave ones that you mentioned, alpha theta
Mhm.
used for meditation, they can be repurposed for 70 other things on top of the 60. Some of them have overlap, but there's about 120 total different conditions.
Hmm. Well, I can tell everybody from being a healer, an energy healer, and a meditation instructor that when I do healing on people, I'm putting them into theta, into what's called the theta brain state, and I do theta healing on people where I take them down into a place where they're fully relaxed in their brain. They're not really hypnotized, but they're almost there.
Right.
And that is where we do the deep healing, especially clearing trauma, clearing any,
Yep.
any kind of things, whether it's false light contracts, whatever you want to clear. I do that in the theta. And so this would be really helpful for my clients to have one of these running on them when we're doing that kind of work.
Yes.
So yeah.
And I had to come up with an acronym because I could never remember which one's higher and lower forever. So I came up with my own
Mhm.
acronym. Do the atheists believe in God? So D is delta, V theta, atheist alpha,
Mhm.
believe beta, God gamma. So when I'm talking just like to you, it's like I got to remember which ones and what range, and I had to make up my own acronym because nobody else had one that I knew of
Right.
for me to remember lowest to highest. But yeah, theta is going to be, like you said, almost hypnotized. A lot of meditation will be theta alpha in that
Hmm.
way. Delta is going to be sleep. Gamma is going to be when you're amped up and working on something hard.
Hmm. Yep. So gamma is a good one to run when you're sitting at your job and you're trying to focus on
Right.
everything.
Exactly. Exactly. You're
Yeah.
writing, you're trying to do research. I'm trying to think of new creative ways to come up with a new campaign, marketing,
Right.
strategy, that type of thing. Yes.
Right. 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 So now you made a comment to me earlier about somebody who is a competitor who is kind of being a little hateful to you because that's what they do in industry. I have the same thing happen where I have competitors attack me on my YouTube channel or they send their minions after me to attack me on my YouTube channel. And so you've been through some of the similar kind of thing. So how hard has it been for you working in an industry like this, coming in from being an aerospace engineer where you had your day job and now all of a sudden you're doing this? How hard has it been where you have to go up against things like the FDA and the government, and you have to go up against all of these really, really nasty competitors who, instead of working with everyone, what we call unity consciousness, which is what we should be doing, we should all be helping each other, not fighting against each other. But, how has that been for you? How have you gotten through all of those hurdles?
Well, the good news is, the phrase rising tide lifts all ships. Actually, in this industry, my experience is every single person I've talked to has been good and cooperative, and we share
Hmm.
information and they're helpful, except one person. Now, I'm not going to mention her name, but
Yeah,
she's an evil person because her device costs 10 times more than mine, and she doesn't want me to exist. Right. And
right,
she's got some other issues that we won't go into. But yeah,
right.
the rest of the guys I've talked to, I've tried to partner with them sometimes. Sometimes we share studies and information together. So I haven't had that from inside the industry. Now, the FDA does not want this to exist. As everyone knows, they're in bed with the drug companies.
Right.
If it's
Big
not
pharma owns
surgery,
them. Yeah.
they own them.
Hmm.
And when you say that, people are like, not really. I'm like, yeah, they do,
Oh, they
because
do. They totally do.
they own them because 75% of the FDA's research budget is funded by Pfizer, Merck, and Eli Lilly. Okay. Those people.
Absolutely.
So that part's awful. You got to try and navigate it, right?
Hmm.
And be compliant, because there's some horror stories that are just unbelievable about the government coming, taking all your inventory, doing this stuff. The worst one I ever heard of, Kimberly, this is disgusting. A guy owned like a dozen companies and they
Hmm.
couldn't shut down a dozen companies. So they actually went to Stripe and somehow threatened Stripe to shut down his entire account, or they're going to sue Stripe.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've had friends have their PayPal accounts shut down back when people were trying to get our current president elected. A lot of the people who were supporting him had their PayPal accounts shut down
Right.
on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
All that. we'll keep
Yeah.
positive energy. So that's some of the
Yeah.
negative stuff. But how I've
Yeah.
managed that is just as best I can,
Hmm.
right? It's trying to navigate the ones that are bad. Like I said, most people aren't. The government is, they don't want it to exist. And it all goes back to Rockefeller and Carnegie screwed it all
Right.
up because he owned all the oil in the world and they figured out they could make drugs out of oil.
Yeah.
Now, any logical person would go, your body is electrical, mechanical, and chemical. So how
Hmm.
can you get rid of the electrical part and have a full solution? You can't.
No.
We're the only country that did that. The rest of the world didn't give up
No.
electrical therapy, right?
No.
Back in Carnegie and mainly Rockefeller started that. But to answer your question is, no, most of it is positive. The most negative thing, and to manage this, is Facebook haters that I had. It's the
Yeah.
most, and I tell all these guys, because they're all men, I
Hmm.
go, why are you giving women one more reason they're better than us? Because every one of you idiots is a male. There's no females on there hating. Okay. So
Hmm.
I would literally have to get up enough energy on Friday to sit here and answer Facebook posts.
Hmm.
Now, being an engineer and rock, I would try to rationalize with them and say, here's data. And it just makes them more angry
Hmm.
because they already have their mind made up that they're right. You're an idiot and you're stealing money from old ladies and you're a criminal. You should be. I've had multiple death threats, multiple
Wow.
death threats.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah, and on Facebook, there's one where a guy says, "Here's where I live in New York. Here's my address. Please come to my house so I can kill you." And Facebook let him post that. And it's like that didn't get screened by any algorithms or bots. And I'm like, so my own thing, the book I just wrote was about managing anxiety and how this technology can help. The smartest thing I ever did is hired a super smart, nice lady in Panama who's a
Hmm.
social media person that answers all my Facebook comments. I don't look at them or touch them anymore. And they
Yeah,
don't.
you can't. It's really hard. It gets depressing. I have the same issue and I have to do it all myself and I get a lot of haters.
You get a lot of haters.
So,
I wrote an
yeah.
article called "Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire," and I said, this is when I was trying to argue with these people, and I'm like,
Yeah.
look at all the biggest scams in the world: DNA sequencing, CRISPR, antibiotics, MRI. So I list 300 technologies that are absolutely impossible until they weren't. So
Right.
why do you think this is impossible? Because you're a scumbag. You're selling snake oil. I'm like, do you know how magical an MRI is? And this is a given podcast on this. An MRI, in Mark's opinion, is the most magical thing ever built by a human being. It's a million times more fascinating than a rocket.
Hmm.
An MRI has so much magic in it, but we do it a million times a year in this
Hmm.
country, and nobody questions the picture when it comes out.
Hmm.
How'd you get a picture of your heart? And they go, well, it came out. No, there's so much magic that just happened for that to actually materialize that you can't fathom it. And even when I explain it to you, you'd go, what? No, that's impossible because it's all impossible. There's 5 levels of impossibility to make an MRI. And if
Yeah.
I tell somebody, if you're on the Mayflower and you had that, how would you explain it? Right? It's a thing that talks to stuff flying around in space and it's communicates, it's got towers and things, right? Is it's like
Yeah.
shut up, just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not real. And so that's always been the challenge. But yeah, long answer to your question is delegate some of it. I got out of the way, right? So I don't have to talk to the Facebook haters anymore, which has relieved a ton of stress for me. And again, the good news is most people in this space are helping each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So I am a huge student of quantum physics. I talk a lot on my channel about energy, frequency, and vibration. And I found it interesting when I first fell upon this thing, and it was called the Vibe, and it had the picture of the lotus flower on it. Let's see if you guys can see. You see that little lotus flower, which I use a lot as well, the lotus flower. And I have several friends who use lotus flowers as their logo for their business and stuff because it represents eternal life and all that kind of thing. So I'm really into energy, frequency, and vibration. So can you talk a little bit about how this thing works on the energy, what I call the energy body, from a quantum physics perspective? Because that's what this thing does. It's really working hard on your energy. I mean, it works on your physical body too, but the energy body is the most important. Um,
Here's the honest answer. No, I can't. Well, I'll tell you what I can talk to. So, and it's going to sound weird coming from a rocket scientist because I actually don't care about the science that much. I want it to
right,
work, right?
right,
Therapeutically.
yeah.
So here's what we know. So I try and talk about it at the highest level is nothing in the world happens without an energy transfer. So
Right.
instead of getting to quantum physics, you just go, you don't cook food, you don't breathe oxygen, you don't drive your car to gas, you don't fall down and hurt yourself. You don't do anything without an energy exchange. You don't make s'mores around a campfire. Okay. Everything requires energy exchange. So how can the energy be transferred to your body? It can be with electrical current, like a TENS unit, PEMF, magnetic fields, light, vibration, and sound. So it could be any of those. What did I, and I chose PEMF because it's the most convenient form because you can put in your pocket, like you said, drive your car, go. You don't have wires attached to you. You're not laying on a mat with wires, those type of things. So, what we know in the industry that it does, two things for sure. And you'll laugh at the end of this story because most doctors don't get it, but you and your audience will. It increases ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the number of fuel in your body, up to 500%. So and it recharges your cell's batteries. So your cell at the membrane has a voltage like a car battery. If the voltage gets low, it doesn't work. It doesn't work as well, meaning it can't get nutrients in the cell or waste out of the product, right? Out of the cell. So it does those two things at a fundamental level. It's increasing ATP, so there's more food for your cells. It's recharging the cell's batteries, so your body can do what it does best. Now, when you get into quantum physics and you go to the next level and you get into more and more theories of how it works, I actually don't go there, Kimberly, for this reason, because that's where you get into fights with all the.
Right.
So here's the argument I always have with every doctor when they go, you need to know the mechanism of action, or I go, shut up a minute and listen. You don't know how aspirin works, and it's been around for 3,000 years. And if you think you know how aspirin works, you've never proven it, and you're a liar, you're delusional, okay? So I go, have you ever heated a slice of pizza in a microwave oven? They go, huh? What does that got to do with medicine? Stick with me if you can, okay? Have you ever heated a slice of pizza in a microwave? Yes. How does it get warm? And they know it's a trick question because now they don't know, right? It's like, so every house in the world's in a microwave oven. It's bouncing around, it's doing something. I go, here's what the theory is, okay? You're hitting it with a specific energy that makes the water molecule rotate on its own axis. It's called the rotational frequency of a water molecule, which causes the friction inside the food. Guess what? Nobody in the world has ever taken a photograph or a video of a spinning water molecule. It's never happened, and the technology doesn't exist to do it. Now, did you prove how you heated pizza? No, you don't, but everyone uses a microwave oven. So shut up and don't worry about the exact mechanism of action, Dr. So-and-so, because I get in that fight with them all the time. It's like, does it therapeutically work for the majority of people? In my lifetime, you'll never understand the mechanism of action in that. And I've lost a lot of clinical trials because they want me to lie to them and say, I know what it is. And you don't. Besides the ones I already said, it's recharging cells' batteries and it's creating food for the cells. That's the two things we do know it's doing.
Well, that's just like all the people who supposedly have alien technology that was given to them by extraterrestrials, and then they created some healing device that they claim was given to them. And then you ask them, how does it work? And they're like, I can't explain it. It's alien technology, but it works because look at all this line of people we have that used to have pain in their body or this or that, and now they don't anymore. So we know it's working, but they don't know how, it's the same.
Exactly. When I lose the doctors on the pizza analogy, you know what I tell them? I go, okay, what percent of the time do your drugs work on people? And they go, 60%. Okay, stop right there. That's correct. Explain the mechanism of action where it worked on 60%, but not the other 40. Why did it not work on the other 40? They have no answer, right? They just say it doesn't work for everybody. Well, you didn't explain your mechanism of action either because you didn't explain why the 40% didn't work. That usually quiets them up, sort of, or they hang up on me.
Well, I want to point out to my audience that for all of you naysayers, who I have a very dear friend of mine who got me into a certain health product, and she used to be an attorney, and she's really into she's very analytical. So she's like, show me the thing. So her first question to me was, does he have something, a test on this showing what the, like a blind placebo test on this thing, proving how it works on people? And I said, well, if you go to his website, I printed out what some of these are. First of all, you've got 600 PubMed studies on PEMF on your website. 600 studies, okay, on how this type of thing works. You've got a thing in there on Alzheimer's and the 40 hertz at MIT, which is probably one of the most important technical schools in the entire United States, or maybe even the world. That's where they do some of the most incredible state-of-the-art research, and all the people who come out of there are rocket scientists mostly, and physics, experts. You have a whole thing on intro to resonance frequency therapy and PMF, fourth phase of water, a case for water memory. You have a whole Wikipedia on PEMF. You have PubMed information on PEMF from the National Institute of Health. You have NIH stuff on magnetic fields and chronic pain, how this works for that. You have OSKA PEMF clinical study for pain, OSKA pulse device, frequency specific microcurrent, info on PEMF mats, which is what I had used in the past, ANF therapy and soda, and then a whole bunch of stuff about the FDA in here. So for all of you naysayers out there that are watching this video, you can go to the Resona, and I'm going to have my link. I have a link that I'm going to have in the description for you all to go check this product out and buy it. And I'm going to tell you, all of the crap that I have taken over the years is not anywhere near as inexpensive as this. I have spent thousands of dollars on wasted garbage that I've bought that I've had to throw in the trash. For $299, I got this thing, and you just pay one time and you don't pay again, instead of monthly supplements. The same garbage medicine and the same, or these $1,000 devices. I have everybody trying to talk me into buying this one healing device that's like $3,000. I don't have that kind of money. And then it takes a rocket scientist to learn how to use the equipment because it's so complicated. I've had people email me saying, we'll even send you one for free if you talk about us on your YouTube. And I'm like, well, I would need a degree, a PhD in rocket science to learn how to use your product. So no, even if you give it to me for free, I'm not. But let me tell you, I am a technical idiot, okay? I admit it. I am totally techie stupid. Okay, I have a husband who's an engineer, and I have to run to him all the time to help me with this kind of stuff. This is the first time I've bought a medical device where I didn't have to run to my engineer husband and ask him, how do I use this thing? And this is a guy, he's a guy who developed ultrasound machine for many, many, many years. He's an ultrasound expert. That's his expertise. And, I usually run to him with medical devices saying, what do I do with this thing? This is so freaking easy. You literally turn it on, you switch through the programs, you turn it up or down to level 10. I use it on level 10 always. But if you're somebody who's sensitive to energy, or you're a cat, if you're putting it on your cat, you may want to start it, because I use it on my cat. You may want to start it on level 1 or 2. And that's what I love about your product, Mark, is that it helps animals, because there's so many people who have animals that they don't want to take it to the vet because the vet bills are ridiculously expensive. And then also the vets are going to put them on dangerous drugs that have 500 side effects, or they're going to want to do surgery, or they're going to want to put your animal down. They're going to say, oh no, your animal's in too much pain, we're going to kill your animal. When you could use something like this to help with pain and help with that and lengthen their life instead of just killing them or harming them with drugs,
Okay, so you touched on many, many things there. One is, to be clear, it's not a medical device because
No.
the FDA run after it, right?
Right.
So it's a general wellness device.
A wellness device. Okay.
A general wellness device.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yes. And one example, you just talking about veterinarians. We have one named Dr. Tom, who's in Myrtle Beach, who has a rehab center that he treats 40 dogs a day in this, and he uses this on every one of them. He goes, Mark, I own every PMF device there is on the planet, and this one is the best. And it's so easy to use, fits in the vest, goes right over their heart. You said something about MIT, and to be clear on the studies. So all the studies, the majority of them on my website are not my study. It's stuff I did research on, but anyone in the world can go to PubMed. You'll find 6,000 of them, just put in PMF. There's about 35,000 published papers that I know of. I haven't read all of them. So there's that many of them. What's interesting to what you said about MIT, I want to go back to mechanisms of action, and we don't know everything, and you don't have to know everything. So the head of that study at MIT, the guy that ran it, okay, I've talked to him 3 times, okay? So we got on Zoom calls, and I'm like, and we're going on, have this conversation back and forth, and he goes, well, what frequency levels does the Vibe have? I go, it's between 1 and 1,000 hertz. The frequency pairs are very complex symphony things. He's like, Okay, he goes, well, you can't see anything past 50 hertz. So how is it working? I'm like, well, you didn't tape the rat's eyes open either. So how did the energy get in their body if they weren't staring at it? He goes, we never figured that out. So I'm like, okay, so you never figured that out. So I'm telling this story I just told you to one of the top pediatric radiologists in the country. She's a good friend of mine, Dr. Lori Barr. And she goes, yeah, the reason they could see it without looking at it is they discovered in 2002 or one that your skin has light receptors just like your eye. It has rods and cones, just not as concentrated as in your eyeballs. I went back to this MIT guy and go, you know how you know why your study worked and the rat didn't have to stare at it? Because it went into their fur and their skin. And he goes, that isn't true at all. So I sent him all these research papers on how your skin has light receptors. Had a third call and he goes, are you shitting me? That can't be true. I'm like, yeah, I got to school a professor or MD at MIT because they don't know everything either, right? Nobody does. It's like, so your stuff worked and you didn't know how it worked, but yet you're doing human trials on it and expanding and launching products and doing all this, but you can't explain your mechanism of action because you just argued that you can't see it and we don't know how it works. I just told you how it probably does. It goes through your skin. And he goes, I'll go read all those studies again. Right. So he had never heard of that ever. And neither had I until a doctor told me about it.
Wow, that's incredible. And what you just said explains how the LifeWave, which I talk a lot in my channels because I use these patches by LifeWave, which are phototherapy patches, which work via the light receptors in your skin.
Yes.
And then they have the X39 and all these different patches, which is totally different. And just so you know, this this product or this device and the patches that I use that I've been talking about, they go hand in hand. They work together. Okay. So it's not one of those things where you would use one or the other because the LifeWave stuff does something completely different than what Mark's Vibe does. This Vibe is a totally different thing altogether. The LifeWave works on your mitochondria and your cells, and it works on it in a different way. So now one thing I have figured out about this Vibe is it works on what I call the waters of your body. You're made out of mostly water. And you even have rules for using this where you say you need to have had, what is it, 4 hours worth of water or something. You have to drink a lot of water before you use this.
It's not a lot of water. It's just what you should be drinking anyway.
Yeah,
Okay. But it's
right,
4 8-ounce glasses in the 4 hours before the
right,
therapy. It will work without the water, just not as well. Here's
right.
why. Because people immediately go, how do you get full body coverage from a device in your pocket or a lanyard if you're not laying on a mat? My answer is three things. One, it's resonating with the water in your body like a pebble in a pond, right?
Right.
So it's focused energy, but that water's traveling. The reason we believe that is it doesn't work as well if you're not hydrated. The magnetic field by itself can't possibly reach that far because the physics don't allow it, but you can put it in your top pocket and heal a broken foot. How is that possible? It's got to have a transfer mechanism. So that's one of them, water. Secondly, an alternating magnetic field is going to make an alternating electrical current, even though it's a low electrical current. And your body and skin and organs are electrically conductive. So it's
Right.
traveling like that through your body because of conductivity. And number three is another discovery, magnetite, which is in turtles and birds that we believe, can't prove
Mm-hmm.
this either, is what they're using to migrate, right, to the North Pole or South Pole. It was recently, relatively recently discovered that we have magnetite in our human cells, just in a lower concentration. If that's true, and it appears to be it is, that magnetite, because it's a magnet, will transfer the energy from one cell to the next. So it's those three things that are allowing you to get full body coverage off, a localized device that you're just wearing in your pocket.
Wow. So now, Mark, I have a class, so I teach a lot of classes and I have a lot of energy healing type classes. And one of my classes is on healing with water, using water to heal the body. You can take this thing and program it for, let's say, anti-aging, put it up with this part up to a glass of water and actually program the water and then drink the water, right?
Two things you can do. So yes, you can, and this is where the voodoo scale, where people are going to go even weirder and weirder, is
Yeah.
anecdotally. Here's what the data shows us: is you can go like that and infuse the protocol
Right.
into water, and the water will hold it about 6 hours, or
Hmm.
you can put it in cream, and the cream will hold it for about 30 days. Now, how
Right.
do we know that? You can't, nobody in the world can measure frequency energy reliably in water or cream.
Hmm.
Anecdotally, what it is, you run back pain, you put it in the cream, the population, most people go after about 30 days, it's not working as well. So that's where we're getting, okay, recharge it every 2 weeks or something, or every 30 days. So yes, you can consume it in water or put the energy into a cream and apply the cream to your body.
Wow. So speaking of cream, so you were just telling me when we got on here earlier that you have an anti-aging cream. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like how you guys came up with that and,
I think I
you
gave my
know,
last one away. Yeah, what I'm doing is since we know the anti-aging protocol with the cream works,
hmm
and this is just a base coconut cream.
yeah,
So we're just enhancing it by a quad peptide cream. So copper
okay.
peptides and that kind of stuff that have been proven for wrinkles or aging. So that's what it is. It has a proprietary formulation with quad peptides in it.
hmm
And we're saying energize that cream with the anti-aging protocol.
Right.
We were just, you never, it's always something, right? So we just kicked off a study where a dermatologist loves our products and stuff. And he goes, hey, I want to do a clinical trial with you, blah, blah, blah. And I go, how do I, Cindy Crawford's a fraud. I'm tired of these before and after pictures and photoshopping. How do I prove it did something to the skin? He goes, you do a such
Yeah.
and such. What is that? He goes, it's a mini biopsy. It's microscopic that you do on the skin. And it measures collagen. And he named 10 other things. I didn't know what they were. Like, cool, you're the right guy to go do this study. So the day we kicked off the study, his wife was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
So now his whole life went, I got to go concentrate on that. And I go, of course. So now I got to find another dermatologist because we have this device here that's going to be for Alzheimer's that you wear in the back of your neck or on the inside of
hmm
your wrist. It's got 40 hertz light and PEMF. I'm not going to ever sell these until I go prove clinically that they work.
hmm
And so I'm right now talking to multiple doctors doctors suck. They don't finish studies. You pay them and things don't happen. So you got to find the right chemistry of somebody who'll actually finish the damn thing.
Yeah.
I have 4 sleep studies out there that never got completed in the last 4 years.
Wow.
It's like,
Wow.
finish the stuff. I paid you to do it. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too bad. They're just not good businessmen when it comes to that kind of thing. It's most doctors, they treat patients, they don't do research, right?
Right.
Universities do. So that part's a struggle, but yeah, there's some cool stuff that I got 240 of them sitting over here that I'm waiting to do a study with, and everyone's yelling at me, going, "I want to buy it now." And I'm like, and it's sad. I get 2 people yesterday. My mother's 86 years old, and she maxed out on the cognitive stuff of the worst she could be. Let me buy one. And I'm like, nope. I'll send you one for free, which is what there's 2 of them sitting over here. I'm shipping right after this call. I'm
Yeah.
not going to sell them, and you need to tell people it was a gift and all that because I don't want to get into that. That would be the extreme of Facebook haters saying you can do something with Alzheimer's. Now, doctors and the FDA and all that stuff are like, just call it MCI, moderate cognitive impairment, and then the FDA may not attack. They may not shoot so many holes in you. They only shoot
hmm
you like 10 times if you call it MCI. If you call it Alzheimer's, they're going to shoot you with machine guns, right? It's like,
Right.
you got to go get the data to show that it's working. And and the reason I'm super pumped about it is it's using 40 hertz, same MIT stuff, but it's
Mm-hmm.
using better light than they're using. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's using PEMF at the same time. I know it's going to work. I got to go prove it does. So I can make some of those quote claims. But yeah, that's the fine line you're walking all the time with the haters and the government is
Yep.
what can you say and not say. And you don't want to mislead people. And even if I tell people this all the time, the haters, I said, if I had $1 trillion double blind studies, thousands of trillion that I did myself, it's still not going to work for everybody.
No,
Nothing's 100%.
nothing works for everybody.
So you still have
Nothing
to
does.
try it and see if it works for you. That's why we have money back
Mhm.
guarantees on everything. So
Yeah, there's a lot of people pushing all kinds of things that don't work for everybody. I have this talk with people on my channel all the time about the different diets that they're pushing, like vegan diet and carnivore diet, and those
right.
things don't work for everybody. You know, the one thing I teach on to all my students 24/7 is that every body is a unique thumbprint of God, and that you need to do what is best for your body. And like in my case, this type of thing works the best for me, but I can't guarantee because I'll have clients that'll say, "Oh, if I buy one of these, is it going to heal?" I actually had a guy message me the other day about this and he said, "Will it heal my blah blah blah?" And I said, "I can't say that it will heal anything. I can't put that out there. I can't it's different for everybody. It's going to work differently for you than it works for me because every body is unique and I can't make any claims at all that this heals anything specifically. All you can do is try it and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, you guys have what is it, a 30-day guarantee or something like
Yeah,
that?
30-day money back guarantee. So like
Yeah.
when we have clinical trial data for that we can prove right and left is
Hmm.
PTSD. We know we have a 98% success rate with PTSD. We have the largest PTSD PMF study in the world. Okay.
Hmm.
Most of the protocols are more than 90% successful. The ones that aren't real good, I'll just tell you, aren't great is prostate. It's 60 to 65%. I wish it was 90 because you know how many 80-year-old men, 75-year-old men call my cell phone every day and yell at me because it didn't
Yeah.
work. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, send it back. I told you there's a
Yeah.
35% chance it's not going to work for you. Send it back. I'll give you your money back. I don't want anyone in the world to have one if it didn't work. You know?
Right. Right. But I mean, it's not just your product though. It's everything out there. I mean, there's so many products I've tried that don't work for me and they've gone in the trash, but then they work for five of my friends.
Right.
And it's just different. I mean, I've had so many of my friends say, "Oh, here's this thing. It's the best thing that since sliced bread and it did this for me and that for me." And then I try it and I get a big nothing burger. And then I'm like, well, how come it worked for them, but it didn't work for me? Well, the reason why is because everybody is unique and everybody works differently with different products and different modalities, and that's just the way
You're
it
right.
goes.
You're right.
So people need to just try this, and I got to say I love it so far. I mean, I put it on when I'm going to sleep, and I stick it right over my solar plexus when I'm going to sleep, and that's where I choose to put it. Everybody can put it somewhere different. Do you have a specific place you like to use it when you're going to sleep?
Just wearing it with the lanyard around your neck or in your pocket is the most
Yeah.
common place. If it's pain, if it's back pain or arthritis, the closer you can get it, the better.
Which is what
Um,
I do. I stick it right in my pants in my low back.
I tried for 2 years, Kimberly, to tell women to quit putting it in their bra, but they do it anyway. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
go ahead and put it in your bra if you want to. That's fine as long as it has some kind of ventilation. I have a super tight bra. If it gets warm, don't be stupid. Stop, pull it out, and readjust it. And I don't know what you girls do in the bathroom, but we have 5 times a week somebody drops one in the toilet. So we've done all kinds of water protection, trying to, it's not waterproof, but we got to do a lot of things to try to protect it with
Yeah.
barriers and all that kind of thing. So it's, yeah. So that's, we have a whole procedure on how to fix it with a blow dryer. Rice won't do anything.
Yeah, it's so funny that you mentioned that. I gotta tell everybody because I put it in my pants in the back for my low back, to help my pain. I've had to stop and think when I'm going to the bathroom to make sure I don't lose my vibe down the toilet.
It happens. It's funny because I tell people, they go, well, what happens if I get it wet? I go, quit dropping it in the toilet. And when it first started this thing, they go, are you a psychic? How would you know that happened? I go, because it's the only way for it to get wet. Until a month ago, a woman lifeguard, jumped off the tower into a pool to get a kid and forgot it was in her bathing suit. So that's the first one
Wow.
I know of that got wet. It wasn't a toilet.
Wow, that's so funny. Yeah, that's the only thing is you can't get them wet. Now, is this safe to fly? Because I used to be a travel agent, believe it or not. I'd like to jet all over the planet everywhere. Can I take this on an airplane with me?
Yes. So
Okay.
it's FAA friendly. If they ask you what it is, you tell them it's an MP3 player because it's not a lie. It actually
Yeah.
is an MP3 player. All the protocols are MP3s.
Right.
It just doesn't have a speaker. Kimberly, I purposely put 12 of them in a bin going
Hmm.
through TSA,
Hmm.
wanting them to stop me and ask me. And somebody looked at me and go, you need to put all your TV remotes in the same bin. I go, oh, I got a TV remote. Okay. They stared at for about three, and they didn't stop me. So I've never been stopped yet going through the airport, even though I have tried. I've worn one with it flashing the screens. I've done anything. I've never gotten stopped yet. So
Well, that's good because I'm going to take it with me on my next trip that I'm going on. So, yeah,
yep.
I'm excited about it because I got this um after I haven't flown anywhere since I bought this thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
Yeah, you can
yeah.
take it with you.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And then is there so you said that the more water you drink, the better it works, right? So you want to
Yes.
have so the way I look at it for me, because let's say I don't get up, I'm a late riser, I don't get up till 9 a.m. or something. I'm probably not going to want to use this until afternoon time to get the best because then I've had a lot of water in me by then.
Let me answer the question differently. You don't, more water isn't necessarily make it better. You don't have to go crazy with it. The
Hmm.
problem is most people are dehydrated. And if you're
Right.
elderly, you're chronically dehydrated. No kidding. This is the answer I got. Somebody goes, as an older man, I said, so how much, why do you think you're hydrated? He goes, I know I am. I go, how much water are you drinking a day? He goes, none. I go, you don't drink any water at all? He goes, no. I go, why do you think you're hydrated? And he goes, because I had a protein drink last week.
Oh
That
my
was
gosh.
his honest answer. So no, we're not asking you to go drink excessive amount of water. It's the amount of water that you should be drinking
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, some people don't want to drink that much in the morning. Me, naturally, I have 4 or 5 of those in the first hour I wake up, just because I'm thirsty when I wake
Yeah,
up.
I
So
have two of those in the first hour I wake up and not 4 or 5.
that's plenty. That's plenty.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask about that, but it's so important that you all understand that how this works with the water in your body. It's basically oscillating everything is the way I look at it. The way I think of it is it's oscillating all the molecules in my body and the mitochondria and the cells as well.
It's
It's
resonating, just like
yeah,
a
it's
pebble in the pond.
resonating.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's resonating through all of that, which I think it's kind of a miracle. It's kind of like you were saying that the MRIs are a miracle. I think this is a miracle. I mean, because all I know is that it works for me. Whatever it's doing, it's working. If I have extreme back pain, I'm having a bad day because I get flare-ups or I have like a bad day. I put it in there and it decreases it by a huge amount. Now, does it make it go away completely? No, it's not healing because I have a degenerative disease, so my bones
Right.
are degenerating. It's not going to grow my bone back for me. But
Right.
what it does do is it does decrease the amount of pain that I'm having so I can actually live my life and I can, like I just had my birthday last week. I had a party and I had a bunch of people over and I wanted to be able to enjoy that. So I'm going to use something like this so that I'm not sitting there in the middle of my party in horrible pain, not enjoying myself.
Not to go
Um,
down the rabbit hole because we're going to be out of time, but
yeah.
it will promote bone growth, and that's exactly what NASA uses it for on the space station.
Oh,
Is
wow.
bone. That's what they've been using since the 70s, and you won't be able to get to Mars without this technology because their bones would have decayed enough in space that they can't even walk. So
So this technology is used by NASA,
it's been used by
PEMF.
NASA since 1970s. Yes,
Wow, that's
or
pretty
space.
cool.
It's on the space station right now.
Wow. That is amazing. Amazing, amazing. Unfortunately, I have a huge percentage of my audience that doesn't think that any of the space trips are real. They think the moon thing never happened. It was filmed in a studio and the space station is in
Of
the
course they do, because
studio. And
Capricorn won the movie. I know 3% of the population doesn't think we went to the moon, because I know whenever I'm giving keynotes or lecturing about anything and I bring that up, I can see by their faces who they are in the audience. Yes, we went to the moon. It's not even that hard to get there. That's the
yeah,
funny part. Everyone thinks it's this magical thing. It's not. You push a motor and you go. It's
yeah.
not that
It's not
hard.
that far away.
It's far away, but it's not that hard to
It's not
get
that
there.
hard.
It's just not.
Yeah.
And
No.
we don't have enough time, but I could explain to you how I can prove that we landed on the moon pretty much is real quickly. I had to clean up the vertical assembly building when I was 23 years old. I went through there. I volunteered to be the trash man to go clean up. There was $50 million worth of ground support equipment that had built that took 2.5 years for semis to clean up from the Apollo and Gemini programs. Now, if we
Wow.
didn't land on the moon, who was smart enough to build billions of dollars worth of aluminum and copper ladders and stands so that some 24-year-old kid would find it 25 years later?
Yeah.
No one. No one can forward think that, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so yes, there's
So
no
you've
one
seen
could
the
have thought.
evidence, basically. You've seen the evidence with your eyes.
I've seen the evidence with my eye. I mean, when
Yeah.
people we get down this rat hole, Kimberly, I'll go,
Yeah.
well, prove you were born. And they go, well, I have a birth certificate. So what? That's fake. You can't prove you were born,
Yeah.
even though you think you were there. Right. So you go down that rat hole and then you get
Right.
them more angry at you. And I'm like, I'm just hoping Elon will get off his butt, put somebody on the moon with high res cameras so we can end this nightmare, because it's actually ridiculous. An MRI is 100 million times more magical than landing on the moon. Let's just end it with that. It is. It's
Yeah.
much more complicated.
Yeah, it is. I think they're very, I mean, the first time I ever saw one, I thought it was alien technology. I just looked at it and go, that just looks like not from Earth. Like it looks like some alien technology. But yeah, it's pretty incredible. And thank God for those things because I've gone through a lot of health issues in my life with my heart and different things where I've had to have MRIs. And if it wasn't for those, I'd be in big doo-doo, you know? I
A
mean,
lot of
I've
people.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've
mean, I broke my collarbone, my what I'm sorry, rotator cuff. I tore my rotator cuff, and the only way they were able to tell I tore it and how much I tore it to see if I needed surgery was the MRI. If they wouldn't have had that, I never would have been diagnosed with, a minimal tear in my, and they said, well, you can just go for PT. You don't have to have surgery because it's not bad enough. Now, if I would have gone to some other doctor who didn't have an MRI or availability of one, who knows how that could have turned out,
exactly,
you
exactly
know?
right.
So,
Yep.
so I mean, I don't know how many times those things have saved my health and my life. They're amazing.
Yeah.
We have a lot of, I mean, even the ultrasound, my husband's been developing ultrasound for probably 30 years, maybe. I mean, he started with Siemens Corporation,
Hmm.
doing ultrasound after he was in aerospace, left aerospace, went into medical. And ultrasounds are amazing. I mean, the fact that I could see my babies in the womb and now it's all 3D. You can see what your baby looks like in 3D, which is just
Right.
incredibly cool. I mean, technology in the medical industry is just going crazy. I mean, it's just getting more and more and more and more. And think about this, Mark, and the amount of time that we didn't have that, or how do I want to say this? It's such a short amount of time that we've made such a huge advancement because if you look back 1930s, whatever, 40s, they didn't have any of this stuff. They had none of it.
No. And just think about this. Chat GPT, right? AI.
Yeah,
6 months ago, 8 months ago, I never even heard of it. I use
yeah,
it 25 times a day now, right?
yeah,
Just research and look at stuff and
right?
write things, think through stuff.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, that technology. I had a conversation with my wife last night. This technology that I'm paying $20 a month for in Chat GPT would have been $100 million a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
And every person in the world has access to it, either free or 20. That is how
Right.
much power it has. Stuff that used to
Yeah.
take me 2 days of analysis is taking me 3 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
So none of that stuff existed. I'm learning. I told my wife this last night, and I told people, my friends, this 6 months ago. One of the highest paying jobs is going to be a prompter. How you become the best prompter. I'm teaching myself how to default, how to go do that. It's changed. Here's an example. So we're trying to dramatically grow our affiliate program.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very painful and time consuming for me to pay everyone at the end of the month. It's a very manual process. I have gone through 5 or 6 steps on Chat GPT. I can now pay an infinite, not 100,000, an infinite amount of people in an hour.
Wow.
Chat GPT. So we're spending just an hour before this call. We just quadrupled our ad budget for affiliates on Facebook ads and radio. We're running radio ads, quadrupled all those budgets because I now know how to rapidly grow my business and not because of Chat GPT that it can do all that heavy lifting of analysis for me.
Wow. That's
It's
incredible.
crazy what it's doing. I mean, literally, here's what I tell it to: go find the refunds, do this, make sure there's not double things here, add everything up for everybody else, put it in a file so I can load it into PayPal, and I can pay 30,000 people in one click
Hmm.
without paying 30,000 people individually. That process I just created in the last 3 weeks. It's
Yeah.
it's nuts where the technology's at. I can't. Nobody can imagine where it's going to be in 2 years, more or less 10.
No, absolutely
That's
not. And
exciting.
it's yeah, it's going crazy. It's going through the roof. I just can't. It's almost kind of like a rocket ship the way it's just, it's
Right.
gone.
Yes.
But I want to be mindful of your time. I think you got to go, right? It's 11:07 my time.
Yes. I got to. It's great talking to you. I have another. Actually, it's one of these AI discussions on how we're creating a new animated character to do TV ads using ChatGPT. That's this next call.
Wow, that's kind of interesting. I just wanted to say thank you for being on my channel today and for all of you who are interested in finding out more about this amazing, mystical, magical thing called the Vibe, which has been working incredible for me. And if you want to look at the research they have on their website, they've got, oh my gosh, so much stuff on there. I will have the link below in the description. And I thank you so much, Mark, for your time today. I really appreciate it. And also go check out Mark's books. Mark's got, I don't know about the other two, but on his website, he's got his Go Find Joy book and What on Earth Are We Doing to Our Health? A rocket scientist investigates out of this world therapies. I love that. That's incredible. So you can find those on the website as well. And I'm going to guess that's all on Amazon, right? The books are probably all on
Yes, they're
Amazon.
both on Amazon. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
All of
can
them are on
even,
Amazon. Yes.
yeah, so you can even Google or whatever in Amazon, Mark L, letter L, like Larry, or I don't know what your middle name is. Is it
Lee.
Larry? Huh?
Lee. It's
Lee.
Lee.
Okay, so Mark Lee, Mark L. Fox, you can put it into Amazon and books, and his books will probably pop up on there. But yeah, you all just go check it out. It's something, like I said, the whole purpose of this channel, How I Heal Everything, is just me sharing all of the amazing technologies and medicines and holistic stuff that I use to keep myself looking 40 when I'm 60.
And you do look 40 or younger. So keep it up.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us today on this channel. And please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone you know who you think it might benefit, and subscribe to this channel if you find this information valuable. And we'll see you on the next video.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you so much for having me. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.